The LaPorte-Deer Park rivalry has been an intense tradition in our communities for decades. The annual football game known as the Border Battle is arguably the most important game of the season for both teams and is just as important to the fans of both cities.
Oh, LaPorte and Deer Park. Probably one of the best rivalries around. I can remember, I'm going to embarrass your dad, Mr. Z, when I say this because we just celebrated our 30th high school reunion. So I can remember like 32 years ago. It was pretty intense. There's some things that the different schools would do here, so I kind of got the different feel of that. So being on the cheerleader side and then on the dancing side, we definitely better kick some butt during halftime because Miss Dunn would have not been happy if they would have beat us at halftime. I mean, the game, yeah, whatever. But halftime was for sure. And then after we have that and we'll take pictures, be so nice, then we'll go out and kick their butts on the field. Yes?
Mrs. Watson, an LP alumni, was a Chato officer her senior year and still enjoys Spirit Week and the big rivalry game.
Okay, so Deer Park LaPorte Week has always been a big week whenever I was a kid. We grew up playing against all these guys all our lives, Tiffy, junior high, and then in high school. And when we got to the level where we were playing against each other in the high school, the game was always a very intense game. The games were always close. My perspective as a player personally was that we played those games. We were never the favorite in those games. We were always the underdogs in the 3 years I played. But the records, you can throw those out the window. They didn't matter. Going into that week, that game was played with heart and emotion. You, as a LaPorte player, we're not going to lose that game. And that's the way I felt about it. That's the way we played it. And I see that same kind of feeling here with the players we have. They have that same kind of spirit, same kind of feeling. The coaches, from a coach's perspective, the coaches want to have a good week of preparation, make sure that we got everything prepared, make sure the kids have a good game plan going in, make sure that we know how we're going to stop the other team's offense and attack their defense. Whereas I think from the kids, they probably just want to go play the game and line up and square up and start fighting for the victory.
Coach Perry, our defensive line coach, played in the Border Battle game when he was in high school and now serves as a coach on the sidelines. His passion for this rivalry has not changed.
I've experienced the rivalry game since I was a little kid. I'd go to the games with my dad, and it was always extra exciting when it was a LaPorte Deer Park game. This rivalry is about 60 years old, I think, and it brings two whole communities together over this one football game. When I was in high school, what I liked most about Spirit Week or the Deer Park game was the intensity of school spirit. So, when it started ramping up to the game, you saw the whole school kind of come together. It was a unique thing that once a year that everybody was on board for the same thing, to beat Deer Park. So it hasn't really changed. That's one of the neat things as a teacher now, and I look at the kids that are in school now, it's no different than 25 years ago or 40 years ago. It is an event that brings the whole school together for one purpose, to beat Deer Park. So I look forward to the game, and go Dogs.
Mr. Z grew up here in LaPorte and supported the Bulldogs football team for as long as he can remember. He has plenty of memories standing in the student section, and now he supports his school by being the head of the sports broadcasting program, LP Sportsnet. The LP-DP rivalry started as far back as almost 70 years, making this matchup the 59th border battle between the neighboring towns. In the total of matches, the LaPorte remains ahead with a record of 30 wins, 27 losses, and 1 tie. With an average of 10,000 attendees every year, this is unanimously the most important game of the year. This game will be played Friday night, and with both teams being statistically even, there's no knowing who's going to come out with the win. But one thing that can be said is the football players will play their hearts out to the last second of the game, and the community will be supporting them in every step of the way. This is the 59th edition of the LaPorte Deer Park Border Battle, and it will certainly be an exciting night.